Hello everyone, my name is Yvan. I'm the Deputy Managing Director here at IFA Paris. And I'd like to welcome you all to the virtual Open Day of IFA Paris. And here we have Isabella, a student of the Bachelor Fashion Marketing program, and Zarina, who is a student of the Bachelor Fashion Design program.
So this over here is student service. You can actually ask if you have any questions. It's the first place we see when we come to the school. This is the main hallway.
This is the area where students can work outside of class. So they can do extra projects or projects they couldn't finish in class. So we have a lot of tables and mannequins. Here's the fashion class. We have a lot of big tables where we can do our fashions, and also the mannequins where we can drape and put our finished garments to look how it will be like on the person. And I really like this big window because we have a lot of light and the view on the small garden of IFA Paris.
You can see work from our fashion design students. Over here we have more space for the students to actually like hang out, eat, finish their work.
So here we can print or copy our works. There's a computer where we can connect to the internet or our email.
We have this is more like a theory classroom where we can see fashion history, consumer behavior.
So the next class is computer class. We have a lot of computers where students can work on their digital design projects, like in Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign.
Yeah, actually, I spend a lot of time in here. Right now, I'm seeing like graphic design classes, so you can actually like finish your work here.
Moving on, we have more tables so that every student have a chance to work on their project, and also some of the lockers so that fashion design students can leave their stationery, their fabrics, and everything they need here. And it will be very convenient not to move everything home every day. Here we have the board with different announcements, sponsorships, work. We always take a look here and maybe we'll find something interesting.
Like if there's some jobs offers or internships or apartments, there's everything. You're gonna find it here basically. Here we have the cafeteria. There's vending machine, there's coffee machine, there is microwaves where you can warm your food.
So moving on to the next round. It's one of my favorites because here the production happens. So we have a lot of machines and we're sewing here. Also we have pressing and students leave their work sometimes. So I have big tables as well. And two types of machines. And here is more room for pattern making so that students can work on their projects in school and outside of school. And more lockers as well. Here's a room where we can finish our work. As well, we can do tie-dyeing techniques and knitwear.
So yes, I have been introduced already by Ron, but I am Ron, and I am going to just give you a little tour of the lab and what we do here. We have many machineries here, many technologies that range from fabric scanners to 3D printers. I'm just going to take you through each one now. So let's start off with here, the lovely fabric scanner. So this was actually sponsored to us by our partner, TG 3D, who are actually based in Taiwan. Now this is actually all about digitizing fabrics and making it more visual. Well, you can visualize pretty much what this sample may look like as an actual final piece. Next, we'll move on to the laser cutter, our lovely Mr. Bean. So that's the name of the company. But actually what we've been doing here, what I've been working on with the Bachelor Fashion Design students in the second year, is actually laser cutting some bags as well as kind of fastenings and so on. I always make sure that people start prototyping with people first, so we can actually get an idea of actually what it would look like before the final thing. So then they were able to get the digital file. There are two ways of doing it, with laser cutting right through, or you can also actually just have something that's etched on top. Now we have here is what 3D printers. These are the MakerBot 3D printers, Replicator Plus specifically. Now these, you can just have a look at the examples of what we've been making with the Bachelor Fashion Design students again. So this is the body scanner. I'm just going to open this on my phone so you can see. Off this one. So that is what that looks like. So the last room now is the demo space. So you guys. So we have this lovely room. You can call this a showroom.
I will now tell you about a little bit about IFA Paris' history. So IFA Paris was founded in 1982 in Paris with its signature program, Bachelor Fashion Design. IFA stands for International Fashion Academy. For IFA to be a truly international school, Olivia Chai and Patrick Kuzmin-Karvayev, the co-founders, opened the Shanghai campus in 2002. In 2009, IFA Paris extended the range of its offer by launching its first MBAs, on top of the Bachelor Fashion Design and Technology program and the Bachelor in Fashion Marketing program. In 2013, with the ever-growing student population, IFA Paris changed its location to come here in the 19th arrondissement, like a very up-and-coming neighborhood, by overlooking the famed Canal de Louvre that we saw before. And this is where we are actually now. Still in 2013, Istanbul campus was opened. And as we speak, they're actually moving today from their campus to another one, which will be in the heart of Istanbul by the sea. So it's like a really, really nice location. In 2019, IFA Paris was eager to pioneer the Fashion Tech and launched the Foundry, the Fashion Tech Labs that Ron just gave you a tour of. In 2020, we launched at IFA Paris a new entity which is called IFA Paris Learn Online, which encompasses most of the programs that makes IFA Paris reputation. We will now be introducing you to the bachelor programs.
My name is Delphine. I'm the program coordinator of the Bachelor Fashion Design program.
And I'm Alban Forestier, the academic director of the IFA Paris group.
So the Bachelor Fashion Design program, it's a program of 3 years. You have 180 ECTS credits through the 3 years at the end of the program, 60 credits per year, and recognized by the FEDE. And you can transfer some credits, to other school, or you can also, if you're coming from a school that has the same system, coming to study in IFA Paris in our bachelor. So basically, the Bachelor Fashion and Technology, so this is the name of the program. It's a program really made of mixing both, I would say, tradition and I will say the future of fashion, so technology. So you will learn a traditional way, traditional technique of making a garment, of developing a collection, but as well, it's very important for us to teach to our future student and future designer how the fashion industry is evolving, and how it's important to integrate new technology into the way of making design and also integrating sustainability. Because we also in our Bachelor of Fashion Design talking about some sustainable project. So basically, what are the core module that you will have? So the first one is called Fashion Design. So it's a module where you will have through your 3 years, so Fashion Design 1, 2, and 3. And it's a module, so in first years, let's say that it will be, it's related to the base and the foundation. So foundation of fashion, color, learning about product, learning how to develop a collection, a concept. In second years in fashion design, you will go a little more deeper into specific field, like you will learn menswear, knitwear, you will learn accessories. So it's really put everything that you have learned in first years, but going into, more specific line. And in third years, all the things that you have seen during the first and second years in fashion design, you will put that into practice and working on your final collection. So the third years in fashion design is dedicated to your final collection, and the final collection have to be made up of 30 looks, and you usually have to design 4 looks out of it. Make 4 looks out of it. After, another very important core module in this program, it's of course what is related to production, pattern making, and draping. So production, it's all about sewing. Pattern making and draping, it's all about learning about how to make a garment, so construction through pattern or through draping. So same thing, first years, it's always, we always start with the beginning and the foundation. So learning how to make a skirt block, a bodice block, learning how to make a shirt, a pants. Same, so project in PMD, so pattern making and production are related. So what you learn in pattern making, you will have to realize very often in a production class in sewing. Second years, so when it comes to pattern making and draping, you will learn more specific product as a tailor jacket, kimono sleeve, raglan jacket. And in second years, you have a lot of projects that will be related to fashion design. For example, you will develop a menswear collection in fashion design. You will have to make one of the look that you have designed into pattern making and production. Same with knitwear, you will have like a knitwear class. You will have also to realize the prototype. So we have a lot in second years, a lot of link between fashion design and pattern making and production class. It's to prepare you to the third years, because of course the third years, like I say, is dedicated to your final collection. and you'll have to realize 4 looks out of the 30 looks that you have to design. And we have like additional module that digital fashion design. So you're learning how to use the Adobe Suite, so Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign. We have what we call a Fashion Tech also module, where you're learning about Lectra software, a 3D software that it's called DC Suite from one our collaborator, the TG3D. You're learning also how to use the lab equipment that we have in the foundry. You're learning how to use the 3D printer. You're learning how to use the laser cutter. So this is in second years. And we have like supporting studies. So what are supporting studies? It's all the other aspect that is essential also in fashion, as fashion history, fashion culture. You have also marketing and business class, and textile technology class. Okay, so this is to say a module, okay, and classes that will help you, okay, to go more deeper into your knowledge. So this is, I would say, is basically program and what you will learn during your 3 years in IFA Paris if you choose, okay, to do the Bachelor Fashion Design program.
Basically, the Bachelor Fashion Marketing is also a 3-year program. At the end of the 3 years, you get a total of 180 ECTS credits. So what are ECTS credits? These are credits that are allocated to each module, and they correspond to what we call the European Credit Transfer System. That means that those credits and this program is recognized by other European institutions. We're part of the FEDE and we're recognized by the FEDE. And students that decide to transfer to other universities within Europe or other schools can have module equivalence recognized. So it's very important. In order to graduate from the Bachelor Fashion Marketing, you need to have all 180 CTS credits. That means 60 per year. Now, we have 3 years, and similarly to the Bachelor Fashion Design, we're talking about a smooth academic progression. So we don't expect any prerequisites. If you haven't done any marketing before when you graduate from high school, that's fine. We will give you the learning tools and the knowledge necessary to complete the bachelor. So in the first year, you're going to have the basics. So it's a very important year. We organize each year around 6 module groupings. This is basically a group of modules that are similar in themes and that belong to the same discipline. So for the first year, we will have the first module grouping will be fashion marketing. It's quite normal for a marketing program. So they will give you the foundations in marketing. So you have principles of marketing, you will have the basics of consumer behavior, and you'll start doing some branding, very important. The second module grouping that you will start in year 1 is called fashion business. This is where you learn the basics of accounting, and you start thinking about, the tools that will help you have a financial understanding of what's going on in this industry. The third module grouping is fashion environment. So it's a bit similar to what Delphine described. This is really a group of modules that gives you the tool to understand the industry and the products that you will be promoting. Because it's not the same, the reason you've chosen fashion as your industry is because you love clothes, you love what it represents. And it's not just any kind of object or item. It's really something specific that carries with it notions of art, notions of identity, notions of belonging. So it's really important to know exactly what is so magical about this particular item. So that's why in fashion environment, you learn about textile technology, because you have to understand how a garment is made. And you have a number of tools you talk about. You will be learning about trends, because this is really what makes the fashion system, being able to identify trends, etc., etc. So you get this basic knowledge, which I'm sure you've already started researching, because, if you're interested in fashion, I'm sure you've found lots of sources of knowledge about this. But we give you further tools to further carry out the research. Now, we have other module groups in which is what we call supporting studies. This is really to help you, again, get this general knowledge of the industry. So you will have fashion history and culture. It's basically a module that helps you bridge the past and the present, because it's important to know what happened in the past to understand the present, but also the future, because our goal is to train you as tomorrow's leaders of this industry. You have other modules such as personal coaching, because as much as it's an art form, fashion, it's also an industry. So we give you as well some help to really put together a portfolio with CVs, tools that helps you apply for jobs, and helps you define as well your project. In year one, you might know at this stage that you want to go into the fashion industry, and you're interested in, marketing and promoting and promoting roles, but you may not know yet which kind of roles you want to go into. And we really help you define your project. So when you graduate after 3 years, you have a clearer idea of how the industry is structured and constructed, and which position you want to have in this industry. And the last two module groupings are digital design. So again, that will help you build your portfolio, and also French, because you will see that in your third year, you have the opportunity to do an internship, and many of you are interested in doing an internship in Paris, one of the fashion capital of the world. And in order to do that, French will really be crucial to your success. So second year, it's the same module groupings, but obviously at a more advanced level. And in the third year, you have an overall project that helps you put together all the things you've learned and have your own project. We ask you to do a brand extension, and you will use skills you've developed in marketing, in business, how to build a business plan, in advertising, in branding, to put together your own project. And in the second term of your third year, you will have an internship. It's compulsory to graduate, and you can do it either in Paris or in other places as well.
The Bachelor Fashion Sustainability. The 2 first years, okay, you even decide to go into design or marketing. So they are exactly the same as following the Bachelor Fashion Design program or Bachelor Fashion Design Marketing. And in third years, it's where you will, be put together. So design and marketing student, and be specialized on fashion sustainability. So you have a number of very specific modules in your third year. So you will see that, and this is something maybe I didn't develop, Delphine mentioned it, throughout your studies, because sustainability is one of the strategic pools of IFA Paris school. So in every module, you always have a sustainable aspect, and you have some sustainable modules throughout your studies. But in the third year, as Bachelor Fashion Sustainability student, you have your own project to develop around the theme of sustainability, with specific seminars and workshops that help you develop this. And what's very exceptional about this program is that designer student and marketing student work together. So this is really a reflection of what's really is happening in the industry, because the dichotomy separating designers and marketers is actually quite artificial. When you will be working for a company, you will actually learn to work together. So it really gives you those skills that, beyond being able to work on sustainability, you also learn how to work with each other and understand where you're coming from and how you can develop a project together. So this is something you will be doing in the third year. So just to wrap up, yes, the program is also composed of 180 ECTS credits. For year 1 and 2, you'll have to choose your track. So either you go into marketing, so for year 1 and year 2, you'll be sitting with marketing students and doing the same program as marketing students. Or if you decide to go to the design track, you'll be sitting with design students and earning the same credits. One thing to remember is it's not possible to switch from marketing and design once you're engaged in a track, because there are different prerequisites and different learning environments.
I knew I wanted to be in France because I wanted to be in a school like IFA. I knew that I wanted to do marketing because I want to do fashion journalism and like everything that has to do with fashion press. So without a doubt, this was the place to be, and the school, everything about the school I like.
And for me, I've always dreamt of becoming a fashion designer. I did several internships in my hometown. And after graduating school, I started searching the universities, and I came up, bumped into IFA Paris in the searching program. And I loved it because it's situated in Paris, like the capital of fashion. The school provides a lot of facilities, and it's in English, which is very helpful because I didn't learn French. And yeah, that was a choice. I applied, and I'm here.
This is my second semester, so I see Excel, distribution, accounting, I see fashion history, graphic design, and I think that's pretty much it. I think my favorite one is fashion history. I love to know about like fashion in general, and I consider myself to be a very creative person, so to have that knowledge I think is really important no matter what you do in this industry.
For me, I have 4 most important subjects, which are production, where we're sewing our things, also pattern making, where we do patterns and draping, fashion design, where we develop ideas, and digital design, where we learn Adobe Suite. So for me, personally, I really like fashion design, of course, because it's the process of creating garments, being creative and everything. And also pattern making, it's where you realize your ideas on the pattern and you think about how you will realize it in future. Also in second semester, we have some new subjects like fashion history, 3D software, which is DC Suite, and it's really interesting, and it's like the future of fashion, you know. And also do drawing classes, which is really good to have like academic basics, because when you can draw figures and clothes, it's not enough, because you should know the proportions, the shadowing and everything. So it's really useful.
I think mainly is the motivation that you have in the city all the time. So you're gonna take every advantage that you can, and I feel like studying in a school as IFA is a very big advantage. So yeah, and the city in general is very inspiring, so that's really important to me, to be able to go out and like feel inspired everywhere I go. So that's what it means to me to be a student in Paris. That's why it's important, and that's why I chose to be at IFA. With fashion particularly, I think to have different points of view is very important. I think there's not one nationality that repeats in my classroom, which I think is amazing. Is to see how the industries work in every country, and to see how people think. Like there's a lot of diversity in that, and that's why I think a school like IFA is amazing, because it actually has everything you need in one place, and you can have a lot of like cultural, like you learn about society and everything, because you are all the time interacting with people from all around the world.
I agree here that Paris is the city of inspiration. Wherever you go, even though the museums are closed right now, just the architecture of the town, it gives you inspiration for working, for developing your ideas. And it's really interesting how one city can do it. Also, being in IFA, in international environment, is really interesting, because there are people with different backgrounds, with different perceptions of life, and you learn from each other what to do. And also, I like that we don't have like this competitive environment. Everyone is helping each other, and it's really supportive.
So I'll let you know a little bit more about the admission process. So how to do in order to send an application to one of our bachelor programs. So basically everything is online via our website, and you need to click on apply now on the top right of the website, and then you have some specific documents to upload on the platform. So we have basic documents such as ID picture, passport. We also have the high school transcript, so the latest high school transcript you have. Also an English test. So IELTS or TOEFL. And we also have diploma, high school diploma. And then for the Bachelor Fashion Design Technology and for the Bachelor Fashion Sustainability Design major, we also require a portfolio. So I have often this question about the portfolio. So what are we expecting? So we are expecting works, in links with arts in general. So it can be photography, it can be paintings, it can be also drawing, sketches. So all these different works are accepted. So the aim is really to have evaluate your motivation. Speaking of motivation, we also require a motivation letter. So in this motivation letter, what we expect a candidate to write in is why you choose this program, why you would like to study at IFA Paris, and why you would like to study in Paris. So we are requiring a one-page motivation letter on a PDF or Word version.
No, it's actually been around for quite some time. I believe that this year it's going to be the third promotion that is going to graduate from the Bachelor of Visual Merchandising. And just FYI, it's a program that is done in collaboration with our partner, Accademia Italiana, which means that the students can do the first year in Florence, the first year in Paris, second year in Florence, third year in Paris. And because this program shares common modules with the Bachelor of Fashion Marketing, the students that enroll can also request to be on what we call the FEDE track, which is the track that is actually certified as a level 6 by France Compétences, so as an equivalent of a bachelor degree from a public institution.
Actually, no, we do not require any specific skills or courses to enter year 1 of the Bachelor Fashion Design and Technology. So it's not needed. Of course, if you like drawing or sketching, you can put that in your portfolio, but this is not a requirement to already have some, a background in design. This is because in year 1, all students that enter IFA Paris, they have all the basics. They have drawing classes, they have pattern making, they have sewing, so how to use a professional sewing machines, so it's not required.
Yeah, actually it is possible. So the Bachelor of Fashion Design online was just launched this year, and we waited a little bit before launching it because we're incorporating a lot of tech innovation in this program, such as digital pattern making, AR technologies for our teachers to be able to give critiques to students that are following the program remotely. As it is, the Bachelor of Fashion Design online is very similar to the Bachelor of Fashion Design offline when it comes to fashion design, when it comes to graphic design, pattern making, and sewing. The only component that is not, for the moment, in the Bachelor of Fashion Design online is draping, because sadly we haven't found a technology yet, because we're still exploring it, to be able to teach properly draping remotely without the students having to buy a 500 euro mannequin, because it's quite an investment at the end of the day. So just to answer your question, you can do the first year of the Bachelor of Fashion Design online, transfer to Paris for the second year, but you will need to get to Paris a little bit before the beginning of the second year so that we can enroll you in a catch-up workshop for draping.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can send your application, and if you are admitted, you would receive a conditional admission letter, and you will be able to send your high school diploma once received. If you are graduated from your high school, if you receive your high school diploma, then your seat will be confirmed and you will be able to start on September. If it's not the case, then you will not be able to start on September and your seat will be free. another thing that is a plus for your application, projects, any work experience is highly appreciated.
We see a lot of students, particularly in interviews, that tell us, oh, but I don't have much working experience. I mean, of course, you just turned 18. Nobody's expecting you to be CEOs or artistic directors. But think of maybe extracurricular activities that you do. Are you presidents or treasurers of certain associations? Have you participated in charity work, for instance? And, even small jobs as babysitters. You don't realize it, but, it requires time management, responsibility, commitment. So anything that can be valued in terms of what are the competencies and skills you have acquired should be put in your CV and in your cover letter.
Students are able to do internships. We do not place students, so we do not find internships for students, but we do have, there are different things that are made for students to help them get an internship. For example, we do have conferences with professionals from the field, from the fashion field. We also have our lecturers that also are professionals from the field. We also have once a year a job fair, and we gather professionals from the field so that students are able to go and meet them, to bring a CV or a resume in order to introduce themselves. And we also receive internships offers that we do send to students by email and post on the board we have in school.
Built in the fees of our bachelor programs, you will see that 200 euros of administrative fees yearly. So these fees, they cover the infrastructure here at IFA Paris, they cover, memberships for websites like WGSN, for trend research, they cover the utilization of Lectura for Bachelor Fashion Design students, and so on. And on top of this, it also covers a concierge service from a company named Fil Français. So the job of Fil Français is actually to help you on a multitude of steps. So they will provide you support in your visa application with an integrated virtual checklist, and they're going to be able to give you advices on whether your documents seem to be good in terms of what are the standards expected by embassies, or if you need to work on them and change them. They will help you open your bank account, open your metro card. They can help with your mobile phone subscription, and obviously they can also help with your accommodation. Now, we live in Paris, so we have to tell you that finding a loft with a view over the Eiffel Tower for 200 euros per month is going to be impossible, unfortunately. So we need to be realistic. But just to give you a bit of a range in terms of prices, you could go from 350 euros per month for a shared apartment in the outskirts of Paris, all the way to 700, 800, 900 euros for studios that are varying in terms of size, where you're going to be alone in your accommodation. And something that I wanted to add as well is that when you come to Paris, Fil Français will also help you to apply for something called CAF, C-A-F. This is a subsidy that the French government is going to give you in order to pay for your rent. And the amount of subsidy that you're going to receive will depend on your financial situation and various other data, specifically the financial situation of your sponsors, which for most of you are your parents. But it could be a help of 100 to 150 euros per month on your rental, and that will help out decreasing the cost.
A PDF format would be easier for us.
There are no French classes that are integrated within the Bachelor of Fashion Design, predominantly because we do have a tight partnership with a language school called Campus Langue that is really not far away from the school. So the students can pay a very minimal fee to follow French classes at Campus Langue. Just to give a full answer, the Bachelor of Fashion Marketing students have French classes in their program, but it's also because it's part of the agreement that we have with FEDE, F-E-D-E, to bring the students up to a certain level that will allow them to pass their final exams and get a level 6 certification from France Compétences. I mean, it really depends, to be honest with you. If we were talking about requesting scholarships, then it's very clearly laid out on our website that we're expecting a minimum in terms of GPA. For a standard admission, I would say that, I mean, obviously we have a look at the fact that you have validated all your credits, but most importantly, we look at the profile of the person. We very often use this example, but we had a student that started in Shanghai, her Bachelor of Fashion Design. Her name was Sabine Ducasse. She joined us, she was a nurse, and her academic profile was not spectacular, but actually the way she portrayed herself and the way she illustrated who she was to the admission team made sure that she got a seat in the Bachelor of Fashion Design. And then she went on to create a beautiful collection that got her hired at Alexander McQueen first, and then Givenchy. So, just to cut a long story short, we have a look at who you are. That's why, what you put in your CV in terms of your competencies, what you put in your cover letter in terms of your personal values, what you believe in, and how you translate this in your admission interview, that's the most important.
It really depends on you. It depends on if you upload and gather first and upload all the required documents for the specific program you have selected. We review the application, we validate your documents, and then we go for the interview. So it depends on how fast you upload all your documents. Secondly, your availabilities, because we need to schedule the interview with the academic director or our Bachelor Fashion Design coordinator and lecturer. And then you have a date, and within 2 to 3 working days, you have a reply for your application, whether you are accepted or not. So if you do it quite quickly, I mean, if your documents are all uploaded and nothing is missing, it can take about 1 week.
Just to give a few insights on what questions we can typically ask in the interview.
Yeah.
Because I did a few interviews before, so we're going to give you a certain amount of time. Like when I do the interviews, for example, I tell the candidates that they have up to 20 minutes. We start off by letting them introduce themselves and their profile. So they typically go through their CV, talk about their academic background, their professional experience, and then we ask them why did they choose the program that they want to apply for. Why IFA Paris? Because obviously we're not the only French fashion school in Paris. So why us? And then questions that we are going to ask are questions that are related with knowledge of the program. For example, if we ask you, what do you feel is the most interesting module in the Bachelor of Fashion Marketing, or the most interesting topic? What caught your eye, basically? You have to be able to answer. and not say, I'm not sure, I don't really remember, or taking 20 seconds to answer, because even though we don't see you, we know that you are quickly going on our website in order to check the list of modules of the programs. So make sure you do some research beforehand, right? Because it's going to be very useful for you as well in determining if that program is really a good fit for you. And usually, personally, at the end of the interview, I'm asking the candidates to give me 3 words that best define their personality. And that is usually a very hard question. It takes candidates a lot of time to answer. So I give as much time as is necessary, but it's to see if you're able to synthesize information, and if it's up to me to judge at the end of the day if you seem to know yourself well, because it's very important.
6 months after graduation, about 80% of our graduated students who find a position in the fashion industry. You can just fill a form on our website to contact us, and then you will be in contact with an admission consultant, and he or she will get back to you.
That's the inquiry tab. You can also get in touch with us via info@ifaparis.com. And obviously, you can also get in touch with us through social media, particularly Instagram, where I'm sure all of you see that we're quite active and dynamic on that platform.
It really depends on you. There's no minimum, there's no maximum. We're not expecting from you a professional portfolio, but it's up to you. It's really up to you. Do not send a 1 or 2 page portfolio, but you do not have to send a 50-page portfolio, for example, neither. It has to give the motivation you have for this program.
So the MBA Fashion Management is a 2-year program that we offer as of next year, September 2021, that can be studied on campus here in Paris, in Istanbul as well. We have some openings, and online as well, for those of you who prefer to study from home. So we have 3 tracks. The MBA luxury track. So those of you who are thinking about moving into the luxury industry and would like to specialize in this particular area. We have the MBA Fashion Management with the Apparel track. For those of you who want to have like a general understanding of the fashion industry and want to work for one of the major fashion houses, it can be luxury houses, but also more general fashion houses. And we also have MBA with a specialization for the MBA Media track, for those of you who are interested in image and communication. We also have a 4th MA, which is called MA in Contemporary Fashion Design. It's a program that is actually designed for those of you who already have a background in design. You may have trained as a designer, doing a bachelor in, let's say, design, or a bachelor in textile technology, and you're thinking of maybe having your brand one day, or want to know more about marketing and business and how to brand yourself and your work. So you're welcome to apply to a MA Contemporary Fashion Design. You have the skills, and then you can design the collection of your dreams, and also learn about marketing and business skills to help you with that project. Now, going back to the MBA Fashion Management, you will see the structure is actually detailed on the website. So for each track, you have common modules that are common to all 3 tracks. And basically those tracks that are common to, those modules that are common to the 3 tracks, all those modules specializing in marketing management and business. And then we have specialization around themes such as luxury lifestyles, or fashion processes, or image and fashion contextualization. You can check the structure on the website. This program is in 2 years. The first year is devoted to the taught modules, so the modules that I've just mentioned, they're organized in 2 module groupings, and they're delivered by either Paris campus or Istanbul campus. You can study online or on campus. The second year is actually a year that is devoted to two main components of the MBA. One is what we call the capstone project. It's an overarching research project for your capstone, where you have to develop around an issue that is preoccupying the fashion industry. You have to develop a business plan and a business model for that. You have almost 1 year to complete that. And in your second year, you can also do an internship. It's compulsory, it's part of the program, and that will give you the skills and experience you need to become a leader of the industry tomorrow.
Just a few words about the MBA Fashion Tech, because Alban was explaining earlier on about the new structure that we have for the MBA Fashion Management that regroups specializations on, you know, apparel, luxury, and media. And the MBA Fashion Tech is apart from the other MBAs because it doesn't share the same structure. This is because of the specificity of the program. Earlier on, there was a visit of our fashion tech lab called Foundry, where we have all our different tech equipment over there and our acceleration program for the startups. So most of the classes for the MBA Fashion Tech take place in that lab in particular. So there's a difference in terms of infrastructure utilized. And there is also a difference in terms of the program structure itself, academically speaking. So even though this MBA in Fashion Tech program is built on 120 ECTS, because this is the norm for MBA program and for postgraduate programs in Europe, it is built around 3 specific module groupings. We have creation, prototyping and production, and commercialization. This is to give all the MBA candidates a well-rounded approach when it comes to fashion tech. What is very specific to the environment of fashion tech, before I go on and explain a little bit more about the program, is the mindset. And in fact, in the admission requirements that we ask of the MBA candidates, we ask them to give us a research proposal, which is something that we don't ask of the other MBA candidates. And that relates to the mindset, because what we want in that proposal is for the candidates to tell us what kind of issue or challenge they have identified in the fashion industry, and how do they believe a tech development could help in addressing this issue and this challenge. I can give you an example. Maybe an issue that you have identified, the carbon footprint of the fashion industry, more specifically, high carbon footprint that is related with wastage of fabrics during the production of a collection. And perhaps the way you want to address this issue is to develop an app with an integrated component of artificial intelligence that should be a help, a support to future designers to understand, even before they create their collection, how much of a carbon footprint are they going to create if they use a specific type of fabric, a specific type of pattern making and draping technique, cutting technique, and construction of a garment in general. That's just to give you an example. Now, back to the structure of the program, the 3 module groupings that I was mentioning earlier on will help you get into this specific mindset. So the first module grouping is about creation. Very similarly to what you would find in the MA Contemporary Fashion Design, this module is about developing your creativity, but with specific tech tools. So you're going to have modules that are going to deal, for instance, with product discoveries, or others that are going to deal with basic principles of fashion tech, where we will teach you the utilization of certain softwares. For example, a software suite that is called DC Suite, that is connected with our body scanner in the lab that you have seen this morning, and our fabric scanner. And the DC Suite software is used to create 3D modeling of a specific design, for instance. Then the second module grouping is about prototyping and production. How do you create an MVP? An MVP is a minimum viable product, that is the minimum level of conception of a product, both from a design and business point of view, that could be launched into a market. How do you do some rapid prototyping? And here we are going to help you and teach you how to create, again, 3D modeling, but to ensure that you can 3D print this prototype through our dedicated 3D printers in the lab. And finally, you have a commercialization component. So this component is very much business related. And we're going to have a look, for instance, at fashion data science. So how to gather data and how to be able to analyze it. We're going to have a look at artificial intelligence and machine learning. We're going to have a look as well at storytelling, because this is a marketing component that is extremely important. And why is it important? Because this whole program is built around a project that you need to complete. So in the previous MBA program, Alban was talking about what we call now a capstone, but what is going to become a business plan or a marketing plan in the new iteration that is going to start in September 2021. In the MBA Fashion Tech program, you also have a similar type of final project. And it's something that is going to span from research to conceptualization and creation of a fashion tech solution with a component of promotion and communication around this fashion tech solution. And that's why I want to get back to what I was explaining earlier on about the research proposal, because this research proposal is probably going to morph and change into your final project as soon as you are admitted in the MBA Fashion Tech. So it's very important that you think of that specific research proposal.
So my name's Georgia. So I've been a student at IFA now for, this is my third year. So I'm originally from Australia, but I came to study a Bachelor Fashion Marketing at IFA. And then I graduated from that last year. And then this year I have joined the Luxury Brand Management course at an MBA. So that's what I'm currently doing. So really the MBA builds a lot kind of more on the skills that we learned in Bachelor. Everything is kind of, I mean, it's really taught from a professional point of view in the first place, but now we have a lot more, like we have another industry project and we have a lot more classes. So kind of building on our skills and our time management, definitely, to kind of, yeah, like really hone what we learned in Bachelor and kind of apply it again in a professional kind of setting. So in Bachelor, we have a lot more hours in class than we do in a master's. So in the master's, we have less class hours, less kind of hand holding, if you will, from the teachers. And we're kind of, yeah, expected to be a bit more autonomous in the MBA. Well, I would say, well, to start off with, it's mainly projects. It's not, that's one of the questions I get quite a lot asked by other students looking to come to the school. It's mainly projects. We don't do a lot of exams. And then all of the projects are kind of have an element of business. So strategy and sometimes numbers, etc. And also a creative element. So it's kind of fusing the two worlds together. Obviously, it's one of the most amazing places to study fashion. Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing city, like the architecture is amazing, the food is amazing. It's really culturally immersive and really stimulating. So even just walking around outside, it can really, I don't know, help to give you ideas for even for anything that you're doing, any of your projects in school. I would probably have two, I think. I'm a bit of a nerd, so I like anything to do with numbers. So probably advanced strategic marketing. So that's kind of, it uses a bit of this Excel kind of skills that we learned in Bachelor, but then also kind of applies them to a more like, like business setting where we have to use it to create a strategy. And then also branding, which is really strategic as well. But yeah, probably my two favorites. I think I would say do it, definitely. Like I've learned so much, like an unmeasurable amount since I've been here. And it's really given me so much confidence to continue on to my career and really like launch myself. And I plan on staying here. So, I mean, yeah. Do it, definitely. Actually, we do a number of industry related projects, so with actual partners within the industry. So at the moment, we're working on a project with Le New Black, which is a digital showroom company, and we're redesigning their user experience. So this is something that I'm really interested in. And and actually, I just started interning with them. So that's helped me get an internship within the industry.
So hello everyone, for those who I didn't see in the last Q&A session. So for the MBA programs, we require a few documents to provide. So the application is done via our website, so it's done online. So by clicking on apply now on the top right of the website. So the documents we require are the latest transcripts, your bachelor latest transcripts, also a copy of the bachelor diploma, motivation letter. So in the motivation letter, what we would like to see is why IFA Paris, why you have chosen this program, and why you would like to study in Paris or, for example, in Istanbul. Also a CV, a resume, passport photo, and a copy of your passport. And finally, the English test, the IELTS, TOEIC, TOEFL, if you are not studying in your current studies in English or for non-native English speakers.
The MBA Fashion Tech students need also to submit a research proposal. So I was explaining to you guys earlier on what is the research proposal about, but feel free to ask me any questions on that. For the MA Contemporary Fashion Design, the portfolio, right? And for those of you guys that are becoming candidates for the MA Contemporary Fashion Design, we have to tell you that you must have a bachelor in fashion design. So it could be with any kind of specialization, but unfortunately, because this MA is really complex, we're not going to be able to accept any other candidates that, for example, would have a bachelor in graphic design or interior design or in architecture. And one last thing about the English test, because we didn't mention it earlier on during the Q&A session, as there was no question about that. I've been receiving emails about a new test, maybe it's not new, but it's new to me, called Duolingo. So students can also take this test, Duolingo. The only thing is, I don't know if it's going to be recognized by Campus France and by the individual embassies, but we do recognize this test as part of the admission requirement. First of all, the group size of MBAs is usually limited to 25. But if I take the example of this year, for instance, in the MA Contemporary Fashion Design, we only admitted 11 students. In the MBA Global Fashion Media, we only admitted 12 students. So this gives you an idea of how selective we can be when it comes to the profile of the students. As Alban was explaining earlier on, we have restructured the MBA around the core, that is the MBA Fashion Management. Why did we do this? Because we have submitted those MBAs to France Compétences for them to be certified as level 7. Being certified as level 7 means that it gives a direct equivalence of a master's degree from a public institution, and This is very important for our students coming from abroad, from non-EU countries. With that specific certification, you would be able to apply for an APS visa, right? That allows you to stay after graduation in order to look for a job. Now, that out of the way, the program has a set of core modules about fashion management. Then, the apparel specialization is very much designed for people that want to work for a fashion house in the capacity of a marketing manager, if they want to work in branding, if they want to work in visual merchandising, if they want to work in product development as well for those fashion houses, then this would be the specialization that they need. The luxury specialization gives a broad overview of what the luxury industry is, because as you know, the luxury industry is composed by various segments. So we could, when I say we, I put myself in the students' shoes, it's funny. Students could actually get jobs in luxury hospitality, for example, jewelry. They could get also jobs in, I don't know, for example, private jets. We did have a graduate that was working for a private jet company last year. But obviously, the variety of these segments all have one common point. It's working in marketing and in management in those specific segments. So, you know, a potential job opportunity, if we talk about luxury hospitality, could be a back office manager taking care of the yield management of a 5-star hotel, for instance. And finally, the media specialization, where the specialization focuses very much on handling social media, video, photography, creating magazines. So I would say that here we're looking at a very specialized type of MBA that is going to give access to the graduates to positions like PR manager, communication manager, event planner, for instance. The MBA students do not have a French language module that is built in within their program. And I think it relates a little bit to what Georgia was saying earlier on. The MBA students are more mature, autonomous, and independent. They have less class hours in terms of face-to-face than the bachelor, which is natural, but they have much more independent work that needs to be carried out by themselves. So that's why we didn't want to overcrowd the programs in a way with additional modules. But as I was saying earlier on in the Q&A for the bachelors, the partnership that we have with Campus Lang, the language school that is not far from here, applies also for the postgraduate students.
We expect students to put their collection, their final collections that they have done for their bachelor degree.
It needs to be a comprehensive portfolio. We want to see inspiration boards, silhouettes, trend research components, technical drawings, extremely important, proofs that you're able to handle pattern making, draping, and sewing independently, and having a photo shoot of your final collection, which is, you know, normally what you have in a final year portfolio. And then obviously, if you want to add more projects that you have been able to carry out throughout your bachelor, then please feel free to do so. Graduates from the Master of Art in Contemporary Fashion Design mainly go on to develop their own brands, because this MA is very much designed to help designers become entrepreneurs. So we have students that have gone on to create their own brands, but we also have students that graduated from the programs that have joined and that are currently working specific fashion houses. For example, We had someone, Gala Limon, that was working for Martin Margiela. Or right now we have Karen Tapassier that is working for Marine Serre, one of the, I think she got the LVMH prize 3 years ago. And then if we move to the MBA, you know, it's a bit difficult to answer because there are so many different specializations, but few companies out of the top of my head, like Herzel, Tesla, Estee Lauder, thank you, I can see all of this. Rick Owens, Margiela, there's Net-a-Porter as well, Alexandre Vautier, Dior, Lectra as well. So these are a few examples. Celine as well. I'm sorry, I have to look on the alumni database because there are just too many. So, thank you.
Design?
Yeah, absolutely. Because in the other MBA, we also have a foundation workshop that is helping the students that are coming from a different background to be up to speed when they will actually start their MBA program. For the MBA in Fashion Tech, you can also apply if you have any type of bachelor. It was just for the MA Contemporary Fashion Design that I was stating that a Bachelor of Fashion Design is needed for that specific program. Yeah. When it comes to the scholarship, guys, because you know a lot of you don't necessarily know about it, but all those scholarships are self-funded by the IFA Paris group. And for example, last year, the scholarship and financial aid that we granted to our new students were amounting to about 20% of our turnover, which is quite substantial, actually. So we are generous and flexible in attributing those scholarships and financial aids because we know that the current context is difficult, but we are also very strict in checking that you're submitting all the necessary documents to apply.
We have a global look to the application. We look for the motivation letter is very important. Grades also, we take a look. It's not the most important part because, as we said, you can apply, for example, for MBAs, even if you are from different backgrounds. What is important also is the online exam test that students undertake, and also the interview. So this is really global, and depending on these different points, we do take a decision whether we accept or not a student.
That's from a technical point of view, and it's super insightful. Thank you, Camelia. I am just going to add a few more insights from an individual's point of view. First of all, we're looking for people that are humble and that are ready to committing themselves to a very high workload, to be able to sacrifice part of their personal time in order to be able to grow. We're looking at people that are going to be able to change the fashion industry, not just individuals that want to become, I'm going to give a stereotypical example, but that want to become international buyers because they want to travel. But we're looking at people that have understood the challenges of the buying function, for instance, and that want to change it from within. So we are looking for trailblazers at the end of the day. And what I also look in an individual as well when I'm doing the interviews is to see if this person is very much aware of what is happening in the world, because the fashion industry is not just about image and perception. Fashion is a language that translates what is happening in society. So someone that wants to work in the fashion industry is someone that needs to know what is happening throughout the world, someone that is checking the news, well informed, cultured.
For the deadline application, we don't have a specific deadline application. It really depends on the application we receive. It depends on the quality of the application we receive. So basically, it depends on you guys. We do receive them, and we just stop accepting application as soon as we are full. I mean, as soon as the class is the group is full. So, and then it also depends on other factors, on visas, for example. We have some students who see their visas accepted or refused. So there's not also a specific deadline because of that. There's also some students who will be graduating from their bachelor. Others will not have their bachelor degree. So, you know, it fluctuates. The number of seats in a group fluctuates. So that's why there's not specific deadline.
I think it's also important, and just to give a tip to the students, for those of you who are coming from outside of the European Union, know that the earliest that you can start your visa application process is 3 months before the start date of the program. So try to count in reverse, right? If your program is starting on the 28th of September, it means that you can apply in August, July, June. You can start applying on the 28th of June. So I would recommend that you have finalized your application and the admission by the end of May, just to make sure that you are safe in terms of timing for your application.
There, as Jean-Baptiste was saying just before, you know, being aware of what is happening, because first part, I mean, in the fashion field, first part is a multiple choice question. And the second part is an essay. So basically, students will have to pick between 3 different essays and write an essay. So it's mostly about what is happening in the fashion field. So I would say read, as you said, Jean-Baptiste, make sure that you know a little bit what is happening, what is ongoing.
But, you know, the sources of information, I'm sure that you all know those websites, but you have Business of Fashion, for instance, that's extremely comprehensive, and you don't necessarily have to pay for the professional membership. I mean, you can already have access to quite a number of websites as well. Quite a number of news, sorry. You can do like me as well. I mean, I have an Android, but you can do it on Apple as well. You can actually customize the feed of news to get as many news on the fashion industry as possible. Now that we're talking about Apple, podcasts as well. Great consumption. Podcasts from the New York Times, podcasts from the Business of Fashion as well. So yeah, here are just like a few tips to have some source of information. That's a great question, especially because at 1 p.m., Yvonne told me that I would have to wrap up the session by giving a statement. So the way we are driving the development of IFA Paris is to be an agile school. It means that we want to be able to be flexible enough to pick up the signals from the industry and work around it in developing appropriate programs. That's why we developed the Fashion Tech program, we developed the sustainability programs and the sustainability department. Right now we have a project with Global Brand Group and Fund Group that is focusing on adaptive design for disabled users. And we're already thinking of how we can develop an academic program that deals with that specific topic. So I would say what's in the future of IFA Paris is more agility, more flexibility. It's also more diversity, more inclusion, in the sense that I would like to push the school to tackle more societal issues that relate with cultural appropriation, for example, that relate with, as I was saying, developing designs for disabled individuals, that relate with migration issues, for instance. And what's in the future of IFA Paris is more international development through our offline and our online programs. Our online programs allow us to reach more people and perhaps give the opportunity to students to follow undergraduate and postgraduate programs when they wouldn't necessarily have the budget to fly and move all the way to Paris, Istanbul, or Shanghai. So we'll continue to develop that to ensure that more and more people have access to our programs. And in terms of offline, it's kind of been a dream of ours to, in the future, have a campus in the US. So we shall see. That's a question mark. But I just wanted to mention one last thing, because, you know, maybe some students, it's not maybe, probably, they're following the news about confinement, about pandemic as well. So if you're trying to kind of understand what is happening in France and in Paris more specifically. So in Paris, yes, as of tomorrow, shops will be closing, but what will remain open are grocery stores, pharmacies, tobacco, thank God for smokers like me, bookstores. Then people are still able to go out as much as they want within a radius of 10 kilometers. The same type of recommendations apply as for the previous confinements, but school and universities remain open. So we remain open. And we're very confident that the situation will keep on improving, because as of today, we have close to 6 million people in France that are being vaccinated, and the number is growing exponentially. So this is not something that is, it's not a situation that's typical to France. We see that Italy is reconfining as well. Germany has been in confinement for the past 3 months. And a lot of countries are trying to adjust their strategy with the virus. But, you know, Vanessa last time posted a beautiful video of a band that was playing on the quay here, because we are by a canal. And so that is it. As long as we still have Paris, as long as we still have music, we'll be able to make it through. And to be honest with you, yes, we do have restrictions, but life goes on as usual. So I just wanted to give you some updates on that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your time. Thanks for joining us.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.